Hello friends, welcome to my channel once again. In the previous video, we have understood how space is relative. In this video, we are going to cover how time is relative. But before going into it, first we have to understand the Michelson-Morley experiment. Albert Michelson and Edward Morley performed an experiment where they compared the speed of light in the direction of Earth's motion with that at perpendicular to the Earth's motion. To their surprise, what they found in the both cases, the speed of light was exactly the same. We all understand in the relative motion, this is not a scenario with the different speeds of different bodies generally we see in our day-to-day life. So, what we have to conclude from this experiment? From this experiment, we concluded that whatever may be the speed of the observing or the measuring body, the speed of light is fixed. The point here is not the speed of light's value. It is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, a huge value. That is not the point here. The point is whatever may be the data, it is fixed. It is not going to vary with respect to the speed of the observer. This is the point to be noted here, right? Having understood this, when we reconcile it with our previous understanding, what we covered in the previous video about the relativity of space. So if we reconcile these two things, what comes is a very surprising, very interesting phenomena, which is the relativity of the time. Okay, let's understand how it works. So let's say our train is moving at a velocity of 4 meters per second, and the passengers inside the train we have represented in the green color, and the passenger outside the train waiting for the train at the platform we have represented in the black color. Now, so ball is thrown and it is caught again. We all know this thing, we have covered in the previous video, right? And let's say this velocity of the ball by which it is thrown and caught. So the to and fro velocity, which is constant, we have taken, let's suppose it's 3 meters per second. Now at this point, many students can have doubt that there is a gravity working all around. So how could be this vertical motion be fixed at 3 meters per second? So just for the simplification, we have done this, right? So what we have done this is, let's assume there is no gravity, or you can assume that it's not a train, it's something moving in a space where there is no gravity at all, right? Means there is nothing like acceleration due to gravity which is working. There is no problem in taking it as well. We can also explain with it, but just for a simplification, I am just ignoring it, right? Now, if we ignore it, now the doubt comes from another student, maybe like this. Okay, so we throw the ball and there is no gravitational pull, then why at all the ball will fall? Now, here the reason is very practical. So the ball will collide with the ceiling of the train and there is a collision and it will fall back. For those who want more about this, the practical reason, so you can go with the elastic collision and all those things. My point here is to make this experiment, this thought experiment, very simple, right? Okay, having said this, let's move on. So the ball is moving with the 3 meters per second and train is moving with the 4 meter per second. Okay, for the green person inside the train, for them its velocity is fixed at 3 meter per second. But what the black person outside the train will observe, for him the ball is moving in this format, and the resultant you can find it through the vectors. We have done this. For those who have any doubt in vectors, they can check those videos and you can learn this concept, right? So the black passenger outside the train waiting for it will observe the velocity of the ball is 5 meter per second, and so the velocities are different for the different observers, right? We are talking about the same ball, right? But the different observers are observing different velocities. Okay, fine, there is no problem. The background is we have assumed, right? Not assumed, it's a common sense for every human. It is not taught in any school or anywhere, right? We take it for granted that time is absolute, right? So the denominator factor time we consider absolute, and in the previous video we have seen that space is relative, so obviously velocity has to be relative, right? So this velocity and space are relative. Fine. Okay, now change this scenario. What is the change? Instead of ball, let's take it as a source of laser beam. So this spot, this green spot, is a source of laser beam, right? Now when a beam is emitted, right, and there is a reflection, it will come back, right? Now it can't be a 3 meter per second, it will be 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Again I would say the data is not important, right? What is the value of a speed of light? The importance is that this value is fixed irrespective of the motion of the observer. This point you have to remember. This comes from this experiment, right? Okay, now train is moving. The person outside the train, how he will observe? He will observe that this laser beam is not moving in this vertical to and fro format. What he will observe is that light beam is moving in this format. Okay, so far so good, right? Now can we apply this rule? No, right? Otherwise it will be different. What will be different? The speed of light will be different, right? Now we know that speed of light could not be different. So if it is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, then it should also be 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. The speed of light will not vary in both cases. For the green person inside the train and for the black person outside the train, for both speed of light will be fixed. Now what is fixed here is the V value, that is the speed of light, right? And we already know that space is relative. Now you can conclude then what is going to be relative? Time is going to be relative here. So we see that through this experiment, when we conclude that the speed of light is fixed, and since space is relative, so time has to be relative, right? Okay, from here we understood that time is relative means what? For the person inside the train, to him in his watch, the time is different to the person outside the train when he compares time moving in his watch. This is a very surprising and very interesting and very crucial point to be understood, and this is what making people crazy about this relativity thing, right? So having done much mathematics, I am not going into this in this video. If it is asked in the comment section from you people, then surely I will go how this come. But there is a factor, gamma factor. This is the 1 upon root 1 minus b square by c square. Using this factor, we see that there is a time dilation concept. What time dilation concept is? That for the two observers, there is a difference in the time. Similarly, there is an elongation in the length and there is a change in the mass. So this is a factor which we use to the different physical constant parameters, and we see that how relativity is varying them depending upon the observer. Now, the points to be noted here is that this relativity of time is coming when we are using the speed of light thing, right? And here one thing is point to be noted is let's say it's 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, and this is 4 meter per second. So it is obviously negligible. So you can say, okay, even if we apply this vector rule, we will find almost the same. But that is not the point here. I again repeat, data was not my point. My point was concept. You have to catch, right? Now, so since we took it as 4 meter per second, which is very small, negligible, right? So there is hardly any impact, hardly any effect you will feel here. But let's say the train is moving at a very high speed, very large speed, which is comparable to this speed, then certainly this value is going to cross the speed of light, right? And that could not be the case, which we have understood from here. Now, so this relativity comes into the picture when a body is moving at a very high speed. High speed means it is in the comparison to the speed of light, right? Then relativity comes into the picture and we see that there is a change in the time in the watches of the green person and the black person. If this is moving, this train is moving at the speed of near to the speed of light, then the green persons will be younger in age and this black person will be older in age, even though if both are twins. So there is a twin paradox and many things. So we can't cover everything in a short video. It is already crossing 13 minutes, right? So just I end there, and we will see some more interesting concepts in the upcoming videos. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel, share it with others, and please comment what topics upon which you want the future videos. Thanks once again.